everyone and welcome back to my channel. And before we get into this video, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe and make sure you click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more videos. And today's video is another weekly roundup video, but it's not really a lot to round up. It's all been on the pitch for Norwich at the minute and there's not too much to report that off the pitch. So what I'm going to do today is go with a few players who I think Norwich need to sign when we go to the Premier League. Obviously, this is just my opinion. Please feel free to disagree in the comment section and give me your thoughts on who you think we should sign going into the Premier League season. And I picked out a few players here and there. And the first player who I want to see us sign is a centre-half, obviously. We're very, very low in squad depth in that position. We've got Christoph Zimmerman, we've got Ben Gibson and Grant Hanley, who I think should be the starting pair at centre-half next season. I think they're of Premier League quality and deserve to start. So that will be our starting pairing, but I think we need another centre-half. Obviously, Andrew Omobamidele has done very, very well since coming into starting lineup in the past two games, but is he of Premier League quality? It's yet to see, and I do think we do need to add another centre-half in so we just don't have an injury crisis like we did the last time in the Premier League, especially a centre-half. And the player who I think we should bring in is Semi Ajayi from West Brom. And now, obviously, West Brom haven't really had the greatest season. They've been very, very poor. Conceded a lot of goals. So defensively, they haven't been great. But Semi Ajayi, I've always been intrigued by him. When he's at Rotherham, he was a very, very, very good player. Scored a few goals from centre half as well, which is impressive. And I think he's quick. He's a tall centre half. And he would, I believe he'd do well at Norwich. I don't think he'll be our starting centre half, but I think he will be someone who we can rely on if either Gibson or Hanley get injured. And now, don't get me wrong, I love Christoph Zimmerman. I think he's great, but he's not the calibre of backup centre half we need. I think Semi Ajayi is, and he'd be a really, really good backup to us. And I think under Farker, he'd definitely excel in that centre-half position. So Semi Ajayi is the first player who I think we should sign in the transfer window. Now the second player who I think we should sign is Oliver Skipp on loan again. Obviously his loan ends at the end of the season and he has been fantastic for us. I believe he's near enough played every league game. There's only one that he hasn't started in, so he's been fantastic. And I think he's pivotal to that midfield. I think we do need to sign him up. Sign him up again, and I do think we need him in that squad. He just solidifies that midfield. He adds so much, and just so much in that midfield. He's a boxer. He can play as a box-to-box. He can play as a defensive midfielder. He can contribute to the attack. He can contribute to the defence. He's so good, and we've been crying out for a midfielder such as Oliver Skipp for years now. So yeah, Oliver Skipp definitely. We need to get him back on another loan, 100%. And I do think we need to sign another central midfielder. For me, I want to see us sign Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I love Kenny McLean. I think he's had an excellent 2021 since coming back into that lineup. But is he of Premier League quality, and is he going to be that midfield player that we need to kind of secure us a place in the Premier League? I want to say he is, and I want him to be that player. But I just don't know if he will. So I want to see us sign Ruben Loftus-Cheek, someone who's proven in the Premier League, is still young of some sort, proven in the Premier League, has obviously been shunted out by Chelsea after given loan deal after loan deal, and it's someone that I would like to see us pick up, and I think it's someone that could really benefit with a loan move at Norwich, a team with such attacking flair. So yeah, I'd love to see him come to Norwich and excel there, and I think he would be great in midfield. I think, like I say, he's of Premier League quality, and that's what we've been crying out for. I think the midfield so many times in that last Premier League season was just missing all over the park. I think we need some players of Premier League experience and that are quality, and I think we have a midfield pairing of Oliver Skipp and Ruben Loftus-Cheek next season. I'd be very, very, very happy. Not to say that Kenny McLean's a bad player, don't get me wrong, I want to see him excel in the Premier League, and maybe he will this time round, but I think we do need a solid midfield for next season in the Premier League if we want to stand a chance of survival. obviously the two wingers we don't need to change. Cantwell, Wendy and Pookie up front we don't need to change. I was on the phone to a good friend Louis Beneventi last night after Chelsea won against Porto, and he was saying how, you know, we should go in for a loan deal for Tammy Abraham. So this is the thing, he's a very similar player to Hugo. So I don't see how he'd be our backup striker, and also I don't see how he'd be our starting striker as well. Pookie, don't get me wrong, only scored 11 league goals, but if Norwich had the players that Chelsea have, Pookie would be 20 plus Premier League goals. If they had him feeding into it. Pookie's just such a better finisher, his movement's incredible, he's miles above Abraham. I just don't see Tammy Abraham getting in the squad. I don't think there's any need for him unless we get rid of Hugo and then maybe need a backup striker in Tammy Abraham. But I don't see a need for him. But I think a position that we do desperately need to invest in is the number 10 position. Obviously, we've seen multiple players play there, the likes of Lucas Rupp, who's actually played really well there. Mario Vrancic, who's played really well there. Kieran Dowell, who's also played really well there. We know Marco Stiepermann can play well there. There's 4 players in the Championship that can play really well in that position. In the Premier League, can they? Obviously, we've seen Lucas Rupp wasn't great in the Prem. Maybe he'll be better this time round. Obviously, you know, to give him 6 months to kind of get his feet in the Prem at Norwich, and maybe this time round he'll be better. Mario Vrancic, we didn't see enough of him in the Premier League. I think we needed to see more of him when he did play, especially in that Spurs game at Carroll Road. He was fantastic. So maybe there's more to come of him. Kieran Dowell, we don't know what he's like. Marco Stiepermann, he didn't get enough game time in the Premier League. But do I think those are the quality of players that we need in the Premier League to feed Pookie balls? No. The one player that stands out for me that I think Norwich need to buy is Matheus Pereira from West Brom. He got, I think it was like 16 odd assists in the Championship when West Brom went up. I don't know if that's the right number, but it's around that number. He's been fantastic for them this season going forward. He has, you know, contributed with a fair few goals and assists. And it is someone that I think would benefit Norwich. Obviously, like I said, with his assists in the Championship and his goal contribution in the Premier League isn't awful. I think if he's feeding balls to Pookie and having the likes of Cantwell and Buendia around him, he'd be a fantastic addition at Norwich and would really improve us. And if not Matheus Pereira, then we can always go back in for Dennis Mann, who we were heavily linked with in the summer. And maybe we can pick him up for 15 million this time round. Obviously, I believe we'll have the finances. From what I've heard is that we're looking to break our transfer record 2 or 3 times in the summer transfer window. We've now got the finances, so hopefully we can compete in the Premier League. But those are the players that I think we should sign if we were to go back up. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section on who you would sign. Let me know if I've missed anyone out that Norwich should desperately sign as well. And if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos like this. And also go follow my socials, the links for them will be down in the description. And I shall see you guys later.